We're going live here in about 40 seconds. So if you guys want to mute out.
No.
Can I just
leave it on for a minute?
No, you have to mute out 6. Yep, unless we go live with you still talking.
I'll mute. I'm trying to find that one.
I love you too.
Please remember, the views and opinions expressed by this show or any other show on DV Radio and its guests are strictly those of said individuals and do not reflect those of the DV Radio staff, nor the staff of dysfunctional veterans.
Attention everyone!
You're tuned in live.
DV Radio.
Online and on the go on your mobile device.
Listeners' discretion is advised.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to
Hey, you're listening to DV Radio with the old guy. I see Bo, who never leaves his couch for some reason. Google and Recoil, and I don't know where Marquis at.
I was going to say he probably went to Kruger.
The little garlic sauce is delicious. You alt-right neo-Nazi bastards better stop it right now.
If you use the cheap sauce, it don't taste good.
It tastes like ass.
And I've got an important message.
Joe Junkie and Carrie Crack are perfectly fine for Tombstone.
Well, Carrie Crack is perfectly fine. She did in New Zealand. I would have sex with Brad Pitt.
How can you even read that with a straight face? Well, I've heard that many like short and tuna can girth, so I'm winning in that round apparently.
You're tuned in to WDVR on DVRadio.net or by searching DV Radio on your TuneIn app on your favorite mobile device.
Because this is how it is on DV Radio.
That is how it is right here on Barracks Talk Live on DVRadio.net. I'm Boner Wood. We got DV6, Google, and Recoil. And Marquis isn't here. Like I said, he's at the warehouse scoping it out still, trying to find us those 55-inch screen TVs. And if you're just tuning in to the podcast, remember that you won't hear everything that you hear on the live show. So be sure you tune into the live show if you want to hear everything. DV6, how you doing, brother?
Feel good. I was muted for a minute. There we go. Who else do we have?
We've got
the guy that
Recoil
laughed,
and
that's
Google.
Recoil.
Yep.
All right. She's fucking muted. I can hear her in the other room. Unmute your mic!
I know, fucker. I was reaching for the mouse so I could unmute the mic, and I almost fell off my chair. The storm is being a little shit. Yeah, that's why I yelled off fuck.
We're off to a wonderful start.
Prior to that, because I knew I was muted.
We're off to a wonderful start.
DV6, I am not a potato.
Hey, Google.
She'll finish the sentence in a minute.
You guys remember when we said Google giggles, but she don't fall down? Well, she pretty much fell down just now.
Well, not quite. Close. Almost.
Oh, man. So, what's in tonight's show, Six? What do you want to talk about?
I have good news. I have extremely good news. Everybody sitting down for this.
It's not herpes.
It has been 24 hours since I did that live video with the baby chick in my hand with the cigarette, and we have not received any hate mail.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Bo found the screenshot of me with the cigarette and the chick, and he used that for the video. No hate mail.
No one threatened to call PETA?
That's when you respond. You know that chick's going to be in the frying pan in 3 months, so it's not going to have time to die of cancer.
That joke never gets old. It's just like kids with cancer.
Oh, God.
Aw, man. Google, could I have you do me a favor? No, I need my drink, if you're right there. I left it somewhere. Not that kind of drink. It's not like I got chicks here or something. All right, where are my notes?
I guess I found your drink. I suppose since I'm up, I'll bring it to you.
Yeah, that's how married life works. Calm down. All right, at least I didn't say you started to act like your mother. And, oh, careful. Oh, she almost fell over. People wobble, but they don't. Oh, no. All right. Good evening. Just talking to the dog. All right, here we go. Hey, everybody. It's another exciting episode of Barracks Talk on DVRadio.net. I am your I'm not your host. I'm one of the people that's on this show. Whatever.
That would be a
DV6.
co-host.
And we got Google, Recoil, and they have all kinds of people coming on tonight. If you really want all the updates, I think last night on the DV page we covered updates in the DV community about DV Farm, about what we do on the farm, about DV Radio, and a couple other things. So instead of rehashing all that, because I know everybody that listens to DV Radio follows the page, so you can go check it out there. All right, so. Lots happened this week in the news. People have been fired. People have died. A couple of people died. Another person died today. Bo, who was that?
Today it was Vern Troyer, who played Mini-Me, most famously known as Mini-Me in the Austin Powers trilogy. 49 years old.
I thought you were talking about Minnie Mouse.
No, I said Mini-Me.
Have you ever seen his stand-up?
It's fucking hilarious.
Oh,
can we get him on the show?
He's great.
Yeah,
we'll get him on the Backs from the Dead episode.
Let me see what I can do with the seance ritual, and I'll tell you when that's prepared.
I tell you, if he can't come on, let's get Emery King. And listen, I want to say something about Emery King. I learned a couple things. One, he's not a bad dude, and two, it's Emery King, and not the way I've been saying it for all these years, Amari.
Yeah,
so,
the way that I told you was
King,
wrong.
I apologize for torturing your name, but I did see your latest live video where you got hammered and started a foundation to help veterans. Yep. I think that's awesome. He gave away his house to a Gulf War vet or another house that he has. Go check out his page and tell him DV sent you. I'd love to have him on the show. He I read his background of how he got accused of, he was sent, as a child, sent to prison for murder.
Yeah. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, his entire history, from then on, because he was in a lot of boys' homes and all, it hits home with a lot of people. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And now he's doing what he's doing. It's a wonderful story.
And look at us. We've reversed it. We were all out there. Now we're stuck in homes. You're stuck on a couch.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but to come through all that and have the amazing sense of humor that dude has.
Yeah.
Well, he said something about that. He says, I give away all kinds of people money for fucking outstanding cock jokes and this and that. He said, I'm going to start using that, my fame and money, to start helping vets and stuff. And he was touched by what happened. He felt the need to help after those two cops were ambushed.
Yeah.
So he's doing something for them too. And absolutely, I definitely can relate to that. We can definitely relate to that too, because here we have, this all started because of a fucked up life I had that kind of, gelled all together just before I died. And now it's got Recoil, Google, Bo, and there's so many different people that are all fucked up that are doing well. And well, come on, Recoil, you were when I first met you were a mess. You were young. Now look at you.
Right now I'm all old and gray and shit, but no, like humor is an amazing coping mechanism. It really is.
Not on Facebook, it isn't. You'll offend.
It's a major banning mechanism on Facebook. If it's really funny, you're probably gonna get banned.
Yep. If it's original and funny, you're definitely gonna get banned.
Google. I says I wanted to post that meme that I saw where it has the two pictures, one above the other one, and it explains the wage gap. Female pilot loses an engine, lands the plane safely, but kills one passenger. Male pilot lands it on the Hudson, lost both engines, doesn't kill anybody. That explains the wage gap. I can't post that. One, it's just humor. I'm not, somebody will take that as, that thesis that you made in that meme does not represent the inadequacies of the current FDA regulations concerning gerbils in Richard Gere's ass. Right? That's what it sounds like.
Jesus Christ.
Like that one you had never trust a fart.
You know why gerbils can't drive? They can't get it out of gear.
Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. I thought this was the update fucking section, apparently.
All right, listen up. Got a couple more people that have started birthday fundraisers on their Facebook page to help out the vets here at the farm to raise money for the DV farm. My front page, both of them. One is already up to almost $1,000, and one that we just featured this morning just started, and she had no money. It's up to I think $300 or $400, and that's awesome. What we're talking about is if you can start your own fundraiser on your birthday on Facebook. If it's your birthday, Facebook will allow you to raise money on behalf of your birthday for a charity of your choice. Check out the Facebook features on your personal profile for further guidance. This is not to be confused with posting a funny meme and you getting banned. That's not our fault. Now, if you use a sock puppet to recite the oath of office or reenlistment or whatever it is, you will offend a few people. And, it's okay to put Star Wars costumes on. What are some of the crazy reenlistments? What's the craziest one you know of? Did you see the one with the guy that had a gun to his head?
Or the dumb chick with the sock puppet.
Right. Well, that's where we draw the line. Apparently, is with sock puppets.
I think the quote unquote worst one or dumbest one I've ever seen, or at least know of that actually happened. They done it in the middle of a train yard because the guy loved trains and he wanted to dress up as a conductor. I'm not joking.
Right. Now, but I don't understand. 2 careers had to get wrecked because of social media, and a couple of somebody that didn't like it. It's apparently it's who's the fastest to get something viral about complaining that will get somebody in trouble. Because it's viral, nobody gets in trouble. We found that out with the Phoenix VA.
I kind of take issue with shit like that because I think it's disrespectful to the custom and courtesy of the military and the history. You said something more to it though. You acknowledge that it's been going on. The best reenlistment I ever went to was in country. We had 6 guys in our unit in Afghanistan that actually, guys and gals that reenlisted in country, and that was actually
really offensive.
Yeah, that was actually.
They should have gone back to the States to do that. You did that in a country we haven't, fully conquered yet. No.
Right. Well, I think they actually get more bonus money when they reenlist
too. That's my tax dollars.
I think what it is. I think if you reenlist while on a deployment, that the bonus money is not taxable.
Good luck. It's taxable.
I'm pretty sure. I think that is right. I don't think it's taxable if you do it in country. Hold on. We'll find out right now.
Well, when I was in, people were still getting, when we deployed in a combat theater, we were still getting taxed on it. But
what I can't stand about the whole sock puppet thing is like Six and Recoil and I just, pointed out, it's been going on for how long? And it's the hypocritical part that pisses me off. I don't care what you do. If you want to do it, go for it. That's fine. What works for you is whatever. But if you're going to let somebody do it and then all of a sudden say, oh no, this one right here, you can't do that. No, mister. Go fuck yourself. Hey, you let everybody else do something more retarded.
Going, what was the basis of doing the discipline? They're like, here I can see the two one was an officer, one was enlisted, I believe. And they're like, we're getting in trouble? This happens all the time. And whoever's in charge of busting it, well, yeah, but the internet was mad at you. Some vets were mad. Active duty were mad. There was a couple people. But look at this. This person clicked like on this one, and that's what Jabba the Hutt, or Jabba the Hutt, whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's tax-free, I know.
Oh my God, this fucking dog.
I'm not a dog. All right, yeah, I guess I am.
Jesus Christ.
All right, moving right along.
But at least he's finally housebroken.
The sock puppet?
No, you.
Oh. Yeah. Is that going to have to be censored out now when we go to podcast?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, listen. If you got anthrax, you get 100%. Just contact your local director of the VA, and they'll give you 100%. Doesn't that sound insane to you?
No, it sounds plausible.
It's the Nigerian VA prince that will give you.
Doc came up with that one.
Seeing as how everybody that deployed got anthrax at least once.
Ooh, and if you got anthrax while you were deployed, it's tax-free.
Yep.
Absolutely. Google look that one up, please.
But you have to be at Campbell, and what's the other one?
I'm going to shoot PTSDog if you don't stop with the crap in chat.
What's he doing?
Nothing.
Okay. I just...
So, getting back to DV6 time, the 4th of July. 4th of July, we're still... I haven't gotten any work done on planning it, but if you're interested in coming and just being a participant, listen to music, stuff your face, and have fun, mark that on your calendar. If you're an organization like PTSDog or Disgruntled Vets or... K-Bar Lube? K-Bar Soap. Sorry.
Dude, that sounded like you said gay bar soap, but I know you said K.
Right?
Check out K-Bar Soap Company, where they do a lot of good for vets. And he's famous. He's on TV, stuff like that. Someday I'll talk to him. We'll have to have him on the show. 4th of July, or if you are an organization, we're not charging any rent or fees. If you'd like to set up a booth to help promote your cause, raise money, or sell your wares and stuff, it's free of charge. What we're trying to do is draw as many people together to have a good time on the 4th of July and blow shit up, eat food, have an open house here at the farm to show you what we're doing for homeless vets in this country. And how this program works. We'll have activities for the kids and the adults. For the kids, we'll try to demonstrate to them what's it like to be in the military. Examples are, at this booth, you're giving a task to do, but with all the wrong tools and the instructions to do it with. Perfect example of some of the times you're in the military. We're going to have a hike up the mountain.
We're also going to show the kids what it's like to be a lieutenant with a compass.
And how's that work? The compass will magnet underneath it.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to tie that in with Flags for the Fallen, which is a event that's going around in the United States to each state. We have been chosen for New Hampshire, and we'll have somewhere either in our town or the next biggest town over, display flags of each and every representative of how many suicides there are in 1 month. There'll be a flag out for each of those, and they'll be up for 30 days. Howard Berry, who's the organizer of the event, will kick it off with us here on the 4th. So, mark that on your calendar. Other than that, between now and then, there's just not, I don't think there's any other events going on. We're working hard here, ripping up stumps and using that awesome backhoe that we have. Vets are learning how to use chainsaws, staying clean and sober. Nobody's killed each other. So there's that. Like I said, do you want to hear more about the farm? Go to the main DV page, not the farm page, because I do it on the DV page because I can use profanity and don't have to worry about not saying butthole or something.
How's Tank doing with the vets?
Google?
He's doing good. I mean, he's hanging in there. Training's going all right.
We got him out of his water bowl and not puddles.
I know he was. And hold on. And if him and Storm are playing outside, Tank won't always go and drink water out of the water bowl. But Storm will, and then Tank will drink out of Storm's mouth.
Yeah, it was hard. So it's been a challenge since we've gotten Tank when he's outside because the ducks are in those puddles. It's nasty, stuff like that, and he won't drink out of any water bowls. But if you put Storm starts drinking it, Tank will come over. He gets to the water bowl, but then Storm will drink all this water, have it all over him, and then give him water through tongue to tongue. No, the gayest shit.
That's brotherhood at its finest, right there.
Yeah, well, when we were deployed, I don't care how the brotherhood tight it was, we weren't tonguing each other to rehide.
Well, that's because you weren't in the Marine Corps.
Now he's using terms, sexual terms, tonguing.
It goes tongue in cheek.
I've got, I've got that on soundbite now, 6.
Hey, there's that guy Toad. Man, your fucking birthday fundraiser for the farm is going great. Good job. All right, what else? Anthrax, sock puppets, taxes. What else is going on? And it finally didn't snow here. April 21st was the first day that we didn't get snow in Gilsum, New Hampshire.
I know.
We can finally put the shovels away. I think it's safe to do it now.
You better knock on wood.
All right. You still got at least 3 more months of winter up there.
Well.
Oh, what was it? Oh, one of my guys in the truck, one of the vets I was taking into town today, and he made the comment, well, I hope summer's on a weekend this year.
Summer?
Yeah, he said, because, we have all the snow, so I hope summer ends up on a weekend this year. Be nice. You don't get it? We're not going to get a summer. If we do, it'll be real short.
Yeah, like a whole whopping minute. Here in Pennsylvania, we have no spring basically and no fall. It goes from freezing ass cold to freaking 80 degrees back to freezing.
Know what else you have in Pennsylvania?
A bigger state?
Nope, hanging chads.
Yeah, we do. We do.
And schools with those 16-inch baseball bats to stop school shooters.
They're not baseball bats; they're mini bats.
Well, they do have rocks too.
I know, but the rocks are not in the same schools as the mini bats, so that doesn't help.
If only there was a device that could meet equal force,
Right. I think we should pit the schools with the rocks against the schools with the bats and see who wins.
Fact. Well, hey, Bob, we've got Yankee Hill High up against Pennsylvania kindergarten.
My money's on the kids with the bats because they can send them fucking rocks right back at them.
It reminds
yeah, but they can't send the bullets back.
These are kids with iPhones and stuff. How are they going to know how to handle a mini bat? You need to give them an assault bat, the real ones.
These are kids that can't handle offensive words. But we want them to fight to the death. Oh shit!
Man, I did
want to touch real quick on the fundraisers and stuff. Like,
in a hurry because Bo's getting ready to say we gotta go commercial. But go ahead.
Right. Well, the DV community has done awesome with these fundraisers for the DV farm, for a lot of the other organizations and stuff that we've put out there. But if you don't have the money, we don't want it. You can like, don't have it. Right? But yeah, don't try to give your last 50 cents. You can share, you can get the information out there to other people, and you can contribute that way, because you don't ever want somebody to feel bad because they don't have the money to donate.
One guy's given thousands and thousands of dollars, and I've the last time he did it, I really went off on him, and it finally worked. And I touched base with him the other day and said, "Thanks for taking my advice." He says, "Oh, it was easy. I lost my job."
Oh, shit.
I remember that. Yeah. I mean, it's not funny that I lost a job. Goddamn.
Oh, man. Anyhow, Bo, you were saying?
No, we're already past the topic. I'm not going back to it.
Okay. Bye. Bye. I was saying bye to the topic, not to you.
Well,
I had to clarify that.
Yeah. I'm not scrolling down. Okay.
We had a topic?
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, let's not do the voices.
It's topical, like ointment.
Oh. What? Oh, man. Yeah, well, I mean, I brought up the one about the sock thing because, I don't know, there was, somebody sent me some screenshots of another, social media veteran-related page that took offense to what I said, and what they wrote is not what I said. I didn't call anybody a snowflake. I said, what are we, snowflakes now? Are we acting like that?
Well, that's kind of like calling someone a snowflake.
That's very
But they would have to admit that they're a snowflake.
Oh, someone at C-SPAN is in trouble, too. On one of the... I think this was... was in November. Oh, the date's on it. Anyhow, whoever's in charge of the captions, it has Senator Mitch McConnell, and then his job, our Kentucky Majority Leader. And then underneath that, it says, the caption says he can't get an erection unless he kills a poor person. Oh, man. And then, do you have Planet Fitness in your news, Google?
No.
All right. Well, this was great. Michigan Planet Fitness was evacuated after customer finds a Wi-Fi network named Remote Detonator. Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Clear it out, guys!
Oh, man.
Definitely something me and DV6 would have done.
Amber, this girl Amber, one of the DVs, she writes, one near where I used to work was named Free Viruses. Oh, man. All right, well, we got a few minutes left. I'm going to be very, very generous tonight and share it with my fellow co-hosts.
Oh, you mean since you went, over your time anyway?
No, I didn't.
9:22. It's 9:26 now.
When did it get short?
You got 20 minutes.
It's been 9:20.
It's like fucking 10 minutes long.
It has been 9:22 for months now.
Oh, I got the wrong memo. I got that fake memo on Anthrax. Sorry.
Go look at all your itineraries that you never read.
I know, and it's on the printer too.
Right?
Son of a bitch. It is
printed it
out.
for you.
Print that out. All right.
Wait,
I have good news, everybody. Those who were concerned about my health, Google has cleared the table off. Thank you for your well wishes.
But before you go, Six,
Review. I love. Hold on. I gotta make sure I'm okay. Google. Come on, it was a joke.
Well, I mean, it's not completely clear, so I don't know why you're jumping the gun, but since you said that I've cleared off the table, I guess I'm good.
Oh, no. There's a couple things left. Finish that, please.
Well, no, you said I cleared it off.
Come on.
You said we're all set.
This is a comedy show. I was being comedic.
I am too. I think it's funny that you said that I'm all set, and
I'm going to go get the baby check. You guys can listen to that all night.
And give it a cigarette.
Did you hear that video? That's all you hear.
What? When I seen that screenshot, all I thought of was the old Warner Brother, Looney Tunes and shit. When like the Chicken Hawk and shit would get a fucking cigarette and sit there and smoke it.
For your next video, you'll have to do, I couldn't get him to smoke it, so I had to do it rectally. Walking around with a lit cigarette hanging out of his ass.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, before we go to break, because we got about a minute and a half before we go to break, we have DV6 interviewing Dr. Howard Waitzkin tonight. Howard and his team conducted research with active duty service members. And Six, do you want to elaborate that on real quick?
What?
Really?
No, I was reading the posts, the comments on the DV farm returning the favor micro.
Oh. Okay, so
sorry.
Good job.
What are
Congratulations.
What are you and Dr. Howard Waitzkin going to be talking about tonight?
I didn't know there was going to be a test. This guy.
You didn't study for it?
All right, let me do this. All right, this guy is a one of those real doctors, and him and a bunch of others conducted this medical research into active duty vets and suicide. It's a lot of data that they accumulated, and they published their paper in the latest release of Military Medicine, which is the go-to place for military docs and all that. There's a lot of information to cover. Me and Bo sat down. This guy is he's never been in the military, but that doesn't matter. He's a doc, and his team of outstanding doctors and psych doctors and all that took volunteer participants that were suicidal and all that, trying to get it to, what is wrong with active duty and why there are active duty service members killing themselves, and where the breakdown's at. And hopefully DOD will look at this study and make fundamental changes. But there are a lot of problems that we all know of that the military plays lip service to. They say one thing, but it's actually another. So that's what we're going to be talking about. As far as what Bo did to to which segment we're going to listen to, hey, it's going to be a surprise.
So, yeah, we're going to have that after the first break. Also, don't forget, those of you that know about PTSDog's GoFundMe, and those that don't and you're new to the show, head over to PTSDog's GoFundMe right now. Get him to $1,000 or more. The last 3 donators, or the top 3 donators that are on that, and get him to or over $1,000, will be guests on Barracks Talk as well as the Service Dog Show with him. PTSDog Joaquin Phoenix. We need to get that book published. He needs that $1,000 or more, whatever comes first, and it'll be the 3 top or the 3 last donators, whichever one works out best. So go over to GoFundMe.com /let's-publish-PTSDog, and it'll be in the links. As always, you're listening to Barracks Talk right here on DVRadio.net. We'll be back right after this.
DV Radio.
But people that don't know you, they hear it, and the first thing is like,
go in there and hang out for a while. Don't be creepy about it.
Holy shit. Shut up. You give me a boner. That's probably okay.
Very frank conversation.
Wow. Where did Rich go?
While we're talking about it, this guy also touched me.
I was being very reactive.
That's usually how we are.
We talked about this.
From Studio 395 in San Diego, California, it's the Struggle Brothers Show.
It's really real.
Here are the rules.
They teach you that in penis school.
This is an educational podcast.
Yeah.
Ever shop online at smile.amazon.com? Why not give back to the DV Farm by making it your charity of choice? No extra fees or hidden costs, and a portion of your purchase goes directly towards the DV Farm, located in Gilsum, New Hampshire, and helping to continue its mission. That's smile.amazon.com, and be sure DV Farm is your charity of choice. For more information about the DV Farm, please go to dvfarm.org.
You're listening to Barracks Talk with DV6, Google, Recoil, Marquis Davis, and Bonerwood.
All right, we're back again with Dr. Howard Waitzkin. You're listening to Barracks Talk on DV Radio. Did I say it right?
Right.
And he has conducted an in-depth study. What's the name of the study you did?
It's called Military Personnel Who Use Health and Mental Health Services Outside the Military.
So, guys, listen up, and especially you guys that are active duty to what we're about to say. You guys are the ones that he's trying to reach, and I would assume this is like you're doing your best to help the military to figure out a way to reach these vets, to get them help. And you were just saying about how I'm reading part of the introduction on your website here on that study about the background and the conclusions and the results. I mean, so we were just talking about the crisis hotline. Is this also looking at what is available to active duty vets? Because I'm going to tell you right now, trying to reach those active duty vets is a major problem, because they are, what's the right word, Bo? They are not blacklisted. They get punished for reaching out for help.
Yeah, exactly. No, people who are actually in the active duty military have actually the worst access to medical care and mental health services, probably in any group in the society. And then when they try to reach out for civilian services, they're not covered. So it's a huge...
And they reach out to civilian services because they're trying to keep it private.
Exactly.
And not jeopardize their career. And I've talked to, Bo and I both talked to people on the back end of the page that reach out for help that are active duty and are really overly concerned, well, justifiably so, concerned about it getting back to their chain of command, that they're dealing with depression or suicidal ideation or those excesses that we're talking about. And they know they need help, but they can get their clearances yanked. They can get pulled off at deployment. They can have their weapon taken away. There's so many things.
Yeah, no, that's right. Actually, when we get referrals, people are often in really bad shape. Actually, the study showed that about 72% of the roughly 250 people who were in the study had major depression. And actually, 48%, half, had suicidal ideation when they were seeking help. And when we start with folks, they're often so depressed and burned out with exactly the situation you're talking about. They know that the problems are there. They try to seek help, and they get punished for it. That they're almost incommunicado. It's very hard for people to speak. Sometimes they're homicidal as well as suicidal. And what happens, this is actually some of the most gratifying work that I've been involved with as a doctor, because within minutes, when people realize that the person on the other end of the phone only cares about them, doesn't care about the needs of the command, the whole thing starts changing. So, knock on wood, in the time we've been doing this, we don't know of a single suicide among our clients. There was one death that we know of a guy that was shot and killed by the cops because they weren't adequately trained to deal with mental.
That's a whole nother thing too.
Yeah, to deal with mental health problems. But we've had amazingly good results, actually, by doing not that much, just opening up a situation where there are doctors, social workers, psychologists, and counselors who volunteer our time just to provide a kind of very focused services, and also the documentation that people need in terms of letters to help them get their needs met, either inside or outside the military.
Now, this Dr. Howard, we're speaking to Dr. Howard Waitzkin. You and other fellow docs put out an article. We're talking about the article of military medicine. Now, did the military approach you to conduct this study? And if not, how is this study going to be used? Is the military going to get access? Are they going to heed it, or what do you hope to accomplish with this article? Besides less suicides, I know that.
Right. So this was actually quite a process. It was published in Military Medicine, which is the official journal of the military in terms of federally employed doctors. And actually, the editor is the former dean of the Uniformed Services University. So we were kind of shocked that we got a very positive response, and actually great peer reviews and everything, even though everything we do is outside the military and we don't collaborate in any way directly with the military. We receive no support whatsoever from the military. Our main contact with the military in terms of both the command and health professionals and mental health professionals is that when we have clients who need help and aren't getting it, or who are getting punished for seeking help, or are a threat either to their own life or to others, or both, we actually contact the mental health and physical health professionals and the command to make sure that people are getting taken care of, or at least aren't punished for seeking help. And that's the main relationship we have with the military.
Well, the military really does need guidance and training on how to handle that. And I think it shouldn't be taboo, but it is. And it's just like everything else in the military with integration and women and all this. This is another area where it needs to start at the top and come on down with an iron fist about opening these doors for these folks. Just like in your introduction, wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and everywhere for the last almost 20 years, you know?
I guess I want to say a couple things about that. First, the policy at the top is very supportive, officially.
Right, exactly.
The problem is, it's BS. It's not actually implemented on the ground.
Because they know that. They know, I understand what you're saying. It is coming from the top, but those unit commanders, the captains, first sergeants, platoon sergeants, and all that have their own unofficial policies.
Yeah, exactly. So, and what happens is that the professionals, the doctors, the psychiatrists, the psychologists who work in the military actually have what we call double agency. They're double agents. They're supposed to adhere to the Hippocratic Oath, which puts the patient's welfare above anything else. But just because of the job they have, they actually are violating the Hippocratic Oath a lot of the time because, as you pointed out, there's no confidentiality. They have to think of both the patient's needs and the command's needs. And so there's an inherent conflict. And this is why GIs and to some extent vets get so burned out and get suicidal because...
And they don't trust anybody.
They get double messages. Oh, we're here to help you, but we're not actually going to help you.
We want you to open up, and as soon as you do, that's the biggest complaint. They cannot talk to anybody truthfully.
That's right. And the other thing I just want to emphasize is that these wars are a little different from prior wars like World War II. Starting at about the Korean War, we actually don't have a clear story about why we're doing this. You know, we're told that it's for terrorism prevention and so forth, but as GIs know when they're on the ground in Afghanistan and Iraq and elsewhere, it has actually very little to do with that. It has mostly to do with making money, either access to oil or other forms of construction, you know, destroying things and reconstructing it, getting a bunch of corporations involved to sell a bunch of arms and planes and so forth. So the point I'm trying to make here is that there's a moral injury that's involved because there isn't a clear story that justifies why we're suffering and why we're inflicting suffering on others.
Why we're going... No, and I'll agree with you on that. You made a good point, and that resonates with me. Like you said, up until World War II in Korea, we had a clear objective to unconditional surrender, to annihilate the enemy and this and that, and now we're involved in nation building and all that, and that's a good point, and it just seems like there's no end in sight. A lot of these kids have had, I don't know what your stats show, but I know that I just ran into another vet that just retired after 20 years. He's got over 8-9 deployments.
That's right. It's more than any human being can tolerate, actually, in my opinion. And the other, big problem with the voluntary nature of military service now, without a draft, as opposed to what we were dealing with in Vietnam, it's like all under the radar. The vast majority of the population goes about their lives without any experience of what's going on. Members of Congress, there's very rarely a member of Congress who actually has a kid that's involved in any of this. And of course the same goes true for the presidential administration. So we have a situation where this really needs to have it really needs to be addressed.
So you are listening to Barracks Talk right here on dvradio.net. We've got Dr. Howard Waitzkin. He done a research on PTSD for the health services outside the military for active duty soldiers. Now, Howard, do you mind me asking who you done this for? And after you answer that real quickly, why? Why did you do this? What makes the group, you and the other doctors, why did you guys want to do this for the veterans and as you mentioned, active duty soldiers, PTSD? I mean, there's a lot of people out there doing it. Why you guys?
Okay, so we're called the Civilian Medical Resources Network, and we're a group of volunteers.
I didn't know that. See?
There's only one person in the whole group who's paid part-time, who's the coordinator, who's at Fort Hood, who's a woman who's comes from a military family, Laura Muncie. Her partner was an Iraq vet, real active in Iraq Vets Against the War. We're all doing it because it's a huge problem, and we're trying to do the best we can to help.
Understand that. Now, I know that you guys took active duty personnel, I'm presuming, and did this study. Okay. Were they from all over the country? Were they from other countries?
How did you find your test subjects?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, these are referrals from the GI Rights Hotline. So
there you go. That one answered that one, Bo.
So people call into the GI Rights Hotline, which is an 800 number, or 888, and for the part of those people who have mental or physical health problems that aren't being addressed adequately, the GI Rights Hotline counselor can refer them to us.
Okay. And then you guys help them as like any other doc or shrink would, correct?
Right. I mean, we do it by remote control, in that most of it's over phone or Skype.
That's what we do here.
Okay.
Because people are, we have clients in Afghanistan, we've had clients in Iraq, we've had clients at secret places in Poland and other countries, and then also near or at bases that are very remote and hard to get help in the civilian sector from doctors and psychologists and so forth.
So it is possible for you active duty people listening, it is possible for somebody who is active duty to get help and not jeopardize if you try. So here is a success, because everybody I talk to says it's impossible, but here are the ones you're working with where they got great referrals and dealt with you. So it is possible. And I think the focus here, would it be a fair assessment to say that more access to private facilities and services would be a benefit to the active duty soldiers and military members?
Right. So, part of the volunteers are actually some of our previous clients. Okay. And people who weren't our clients but were in the military previously. Like one of our main intake people who's working as basically a community health worker now with us is a 20-year Marine vet. So these are people with a lot of experience. And where we're coming from is that there's that group of volunteers and then a group of basically people who object to militarism and war, of which I'm one. I'm a conscientious objector from the Vietnam era. And I've always done military support work as part of that.
So you're still serving, though, the way I see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now, in terms of what to do, which is the other question you asked, what we're arguing for is that because of this conflict that military professionals have, and that soldiers often have the experience of feeling screwed if they seek help, we want there to be access to civilian doctors and mental health workers when the GIs feel the need for it. And that's what's not possible for active duty GIs currently, but it should be possible. Now, what we're not arguing for is privatization of the VA. Right. So I want to make that clear.
Okay, that's good. No, what I'm interested in, at what point, I see both sides of the coin, being that, when I was in, too, I'll play devil's advocate, that there are some individuals that need serious help when they do reach out. And obviously, when there are those big red flags that somebody can not only get the soldier or the military member help, but also, not put them in a situation. But I think the biggest thing that, like, we're saying here is there is a serious problem within the military community of active duty, military members, of access. Now, your study. Let's talk some more about your study. So what else? There's a lot of numbers and this and that. What else did you discover when doing this study that you think our listeners should know about, that you found?
Okay, so there were very high rates of depression, over 70%, PTSD about 60%, suicidal ideation about 50%, and anxiety, PTSD, and that group of problems, which was about 35%. There was also a lot of substance use, and then a huge amount of problems having to do with family members who were sick, who needed help. People were super stressed because they couldn't get home. They weren't granted leave. Dying parents or recently died parents, they can't get leave. So there's that kind of problem too. And we've, tried our best to relate to all of that. The amazing thing is that these numbers are about 5 times higher than the surveys of active duty GIs that the military does, which usually finds, like 20% depressed, 15% with PTSD, etc. So what's happening here is this huge gap between reality, people who are in the military, need help, don't get help, seek it out, as best they can in the civilian sector, and what the military reports through their surveys. So even though the military acknowledges the problem at the highest levels, the data that they have basically don't communicate the problem.
I'm looking at a lot of the categories, and fear of reprisal. We've talked a lot about that. We've talked about mistrust of command. Obviously insufficient and unresponsive services, but there's also, I don't know how much of that was a factor, but the deception and the pre-existing disorders, where you talk about in your study, where some of the people that are having major issues with mental health problems disclosed it to their recruiters.
Absolutely. Now, this was one of the really amazing findings that we had that we weren't aware of, actually, which is that recruiters not only lie, which we will.
No, come on, recruiters don't.
So that's pretty common knowledge. It's terrible.
No, that's a given.
But a lot of our clients were actually told by their recruiters not to reveal their mental health problems.
If you want to get in, that's how they do it. So, if the individual wants to get in and the recruiter thinks, it's not a big deal. That's a lot of power to put in the recruiters.
Exactly. So like between 20 and 30% of our clients actually had major mental health problems before they entered the military, and they were encouraged to basically lie about that at the time of recruitment. And then they get in the military and they're completely inadequate services to deal with that.
Which causes more drain on resources for those who have.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's also part of the huge suicide rate that exists, because, the part of people who commit suicide were perfectly fine before they entered the military and had major trauma and, commit suicide for that reason. But a portion of the people who commit suicide or are suicidal actually were that way before they entered the military too, and just haven't gotten the help that they needed.
So 30% of the people that we're talking about in the study had pre-existing.
Yeah.
And that's a big number. I mean, there's something else.
And it's even bigger because, frankly, those are the people who say that they did.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying.
DV6, if I could really quick, I'm glad you brought that up, Howard, because I know, and I'm sure it's true for DV6, and I know it's true for myself and Google and Recoil and a lot of our other shows hosts, that when we redeployed coming back from overseas, your commander and everybody, they're telling you, tell them that if you've got problems, tell them you've got problems. But I noticed that when they're asking you these questions, and I have friends that this happened to, they'll say, do you have the nightmares and all that? And they'll say yes, but the look that they give you, and then they'll ask you again, it's not telling you, hey, you can't say that or you're going to get kicked out or you're not going to get help. But it's along those lines. Is that something that you're hoping this study is going to help to actually bring to the surface, like that, look, these people are having these problems. They've had pre-existing before they entered. They're having problems when they come back or what have you. You need to identify and actually help it. Is that something you're hoping this study actually does?
Yeah, because people are either told that they will get screwed if they admit it and seek help,
yes,
or they're given this kind of message that there's something wrong with them if they're feeling that way,
right?
Because they should be strong and be able to suck it up. So the bottom line here is that the normal reaction to these military experiences is trauma. How can you be in combat or even in some of the stuff that goes on outside of combat and not get traumatized?
Right.
But the communication is that there's something in the human mind that, like strength, that means that strong people should just suppress normal reactions,
right?
Which is really pathological.
Well, I hate to bring up, bad times, but it's gone on for years, from everything from before JFK was assassinated to the Las Vegas shooter. And every time you hear it on the news, they had no signs of mental illness, but now all of a sudden they're mentally ill and unstable. Is that something that you think is contributing to some of these outbursts that might be happening?
Oh yeah, no, this happens not only in the military.
Right.
The whole society gets the message that that if you are distressed because of real conditions in your life, that there's something wrong with you rather than the conditions.
Right.
No, I think I know you would agree that that's perfectly normal, and it's a normal reaction to be stressed or have anxiety.
Exactly. So we have a colleague who's a psychologist who has this idea about pathological normality, and he argues that the so-called normal conditions of society, which has to do with, violence, pollution, job insecurity, food insecurity, etc., that's what's pathological. And the idea that that's somehow normal is pathological. And when people get normal reactions to those and are considered mentally ill, that's the problem.
Well, it's just like... Sorry.
I'm going to have to break for just a minute to deal with this other guy who's
here. He's out there shooting intruders. I know he is.
I was just going to say...
I don't want to forget, because we're on the subject, is one more problem, and that is not the chain of command,
right?
Not the lack of services, but amongst peers, admitting that you have problems. So that's what I was trying to get in before.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, well, I thought of it first.
But along that, I was going to bring up, it's just like when I was going for my state disability. And they had asked, because I'd put down anxiety, and I've had anxiety, and it's gotten really bad. And they asked me, what is my signs of anxiety? And I told them, look, I hyperventilate, I freak out, my heart pounds, all that. And the guy goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not anxiety. He flat out said, I was like, really?
So I want to,
Go ahead.
I want to get back on track. I want to just one more thing. And, I want to try and keep away from the stuff that like the anti-war and stuff, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, I applaud him. He's conscientious objector and this and that, but he's doing his part for his country and this and that.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to get into that.
When he comes back, if you want to do a station identifier and then go right into your question. If you want to do
we're
that.
Back with Dr. Howard Waitzkin and on DV Radio here on Barracks Talk.
Redo that again, because it was really muffled there for a second.
All right, we're back again with Dr. Howard Waitzkin, who has got an article out, Military Medicine. You're listening to Barracks Talk on DV Radio. Real quick, just one other thing that we also have to that's not in, I don't see it on your study, I'm looking at it now, is, maybe I'm wrong, but one of the biggest hurdles to getting help or admitting you need help is within our own. Even when I was active duty, peer pressure is a motherfucker. And I can say that because it's our show. Admitting you have a weakness or that you need help amongst peers, you can be shamed, looked down upon, viewed as weak, you know. But that's publicly. But I do know of in my units and that we used to drink and talk openly about stuff. But to say, hey guys, you know, hey, that last deployment kicked my ass. I think I'm gonna have to go in for a tune-up. Yeah, that doesn't fly too well amongst our peers when you're in. You know, like you just said, there's this. You have to have this appearance of being the almighty type. If you're a squad leader, platoon sergeant, first sergeant, sergeant major, or the colonel, or the captain, or the lieutenant. God help us, those LTs. You have to have this you have to have this appearance of being invincible. But it's awesome, and like I said, I told Bo I don't want to beat into. You know, everybody has their part to do, and I do. I respect what you're trying to do to help our men and women, and you know, there's many ways to serve, whether you go in the military or not. There's many ways to serve your country and this and that, and I applaud you. I
applaud you too.
What is your take and thoughts on and this is for the female vets, on MST?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, in your study, I think I saw it in there. How many female in your group? The female vets or active duty. What are the numbers on that?
Military sexual trauma.
Yes.
So there are about 12% of the active duty military who are women. 18% of our clients are women, and about 2/3 of those have had military sexual trauma. About 2% of our male clients have had military sexual trauma in the military.
And I know that's you know, I think it's becoming more accepted, but still there are all those naysayers out there say that's impossible, but I'm not in that camp. I believe that it goes both ways.
You bet. And some of the cases that we have of men who have had military sexual trauma in the military are some of the most needy, most traumatized people that we've encountered, actually. So, huge challenge. Again, there's all this hypocrisy and bullshit, frankly, at the highest levels of the military about military sexual trauma. So, you know, it's forbidden to harass people, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is that on the ground, it still happens, like every day.
So, you have men and women together at almost every level of the military now. I'm not saying you have to accept it, but it's going to happen. How much of it happens is up to how the military, you know, trains. And we didn't have any of that. I got out in 92 and I cannot remember any of the stuff they're talking about now of ever we having to do at all the sharp briefings and this and that. But, again, the military's is doing an almost seemingly impossible job, over the last, like you said, 2 decades. Well, since 2003, 2002, 1.
Well, it was 9/11.
Yeah. So, you know, all right.
So you know, there are actually a number of people who kind of focus on military sexual trauma as therapists, and then there are vets and even some active duty GIs who have made this kind of a cause. Like one of the Veterans for Peace vets that we collaborate with is a woman who had military sexual trauma, and you know, she's devoting a large part of her life to trying to make it clear that this is happening, the extent that it's happening, to try to get the military to initiate policies to actually prevent it instead of being hypocritical about it, and to help the people who are affected by it.
Here's another big category that a lot of our listeners, whether you're active duty or not, it deals with, and it never leaves you. I don't think. I don't know how you can ever get rid of it. Is guilt. Clients experience or anticipated guilt about killing in multiple narratives. Guilt generated emotional distress. And then there's the guilt of those who can't redeploy, or the guilt that somebody else was killed and not them. There's a lot. We deal with that on a day in, day out basis on the page. People, that's a big one.
No, it's huge. It's actually one of the most frequent categories of problems that our clients have. And as you say, Mike, it's about both guilt about what they've done, what folks have done, and especially when they're civilians, women, and children that they've either killed or injured, sometimes, often unintentionally, but sometimes ordered to do that, generating huge guilt, and also the guilt of having your comrades killed instead of you, which is like a lifelong trauma, exactly as you say. So this again is one of the things that contributes to suicide, and it's one of the things that that we try to focus on. There are some approaches to that can be helpful, but the main thing I want to emphasize in this is prevention. Like one of the things in public health that we really focus on is how can you prevent health and mental health problems rather than to try to put Band-Aids on them once they happen. And in my mind, and many of us who are involved in this, it's really militarism that needs to be addressed. Going to war for fake reasons, which is the name of the game now for the military-industrial complex. So preventing mental health, physical health problems by preventing war needs to be the priority. And of course, the government and the corporations that they're affiliated with are going in exactly the opposite direction.
Well, and that may be the case, and probably is the case, but there will always be those that this problem, no matter what, will never go away. I have my thoughts on, we're talking about, the circumstances will always, they'll never change. They'll always be there. The circumstances of why people are having all these issues will always be there. And I think part of it is, how do you help them? Well, how do you even prevent it? Well, if there was a better way of not decompressing when you come back to deployment, if there were policies instituted that as a unit had to participate in, not going to a therapist or whatever, but maybe those tools of things that are good mental health things. There's quite a few, other than, shoving pills down everybody's throat. Before I forget, we've talked about the military as a whole. What I'm really curious, when we talked about the tough guy, the invincibility complex, it must be really bad for officers that are active duty. If it's hard for an enlisted service member to ask for help, I can only imagine what it will do to an officer who seeks out help.
Some of our worst cases have been officers. Actually, one of the worst cases was a chaplain. So, yeah, I mean, what you're talking about is true.
6, if you don't mind, if I could comment really, or ask,
bring
actually.
us back on track.
Yeah, but I think I seen it in chat just a minute ago, Howard, but I know we have a lot of active duty members that listen. I know we have family members that take care of them, that are retired, and we have a lot of veterans that may want to help. If someone's listening right now that does want to help and participate in something in the future with your group, is there a way that they could do that, or do they have to be near you guys?
No, and our volunteers are all over the country, and actually even in Europe. So the best thing to do would be for people to get in touch with me either by email, which is probably most efficient, or by phone, and it's on our website, civilianmedicalresources.net.
Okay. Yeah, 6. Do you want to ask anything else, or?
No, what I was going to say, for those who are still, and let's keep this, for those that are listening and want to learn more and follow more on this conversations, go to the DV page, Dysfunctional Veterans, on Facebook. Check out the Facebook Live videos or any of the videos on the page, and look for the one titled something with Dr. Howard Waitzkin. I don't know what the topic will be, but you new guys who are regular followers of the damn radio station and stuff in the page know how to find them. And listen, assholes. You know, with the whole point of us doing this interview with the doc here, and then why he did all this work is there is a problem out there for you active duty fuckers, and there's no excuse not to get help. When there's a will, there's a way. If you're dealing with issues and this and that, and you don't want to go through the normal chain of command and their SOPs and all that, you still can get help. You can log into the DV forum site, which is dvbarracks.com. You can talk there. Doc, do you have a way that if they really need help and they don't want to go through normal channels, are you still taking referrals, or is there a number call that's anonymous?
Their website is gightshotline.org.
That's like GIRIGHTS?
Hotline.org.
Okay.
And there's an 877 number on the hotline that's staffed a lot of the time during the week. And if not, you can leave a message and they'll give you a call back.
Well, it's been great. Again,
we actually would rather get referrals through the GI Rights hotline, because when people have mental or physical health problems, it's usually in the context of a lot of other problems that the GI Rights hotline can help with.
Right, they'll triage them and see. That's what was my point. There's many, and the point of why we're telling you guys this is there a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of resources out there, and as always, you know, you can reach out on the page too, and we'll do the same thing. We'll point you in the right direction. And
the GI Rights hotline actually can use help also.
So they're looking for volunteers.
So it'd be wonderful if people, you know, it's hard to do it when you're in the military, but when you're a vet, despite all their problems, it's possible to learn some fairly simple things to be very helpful when GIs or vets call in for this number.
Bo?
Yeah, I'm going to have all the links that Howard mentioned, that you mentioned, down below in the podcast and as well on the YouTube channel.
So, guys, Doctor, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I can anticipate that we're going to have you on again in the future. And thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Very, very, very important work that you're doing also.
Thank you, Howard. You just heard Howard Waitzkin, who done a study for researching PTSD right here on Barracks Talk on dvradio.net. So we do need to take a break, but before we go to break, don't forget that you can win a meet and greet with Bisto Blanco and David Libby, who is the founder of Warrior Service and Sosra, at the Ride for Ronnie on May 6th in Encino, California. All you have to do is listen to this podcast. The link will be in the comments on the post on Facebook, as well as the normal postings. And do it now before the contest ends. We don't have a date set firm yet, but it will be done so you can get your affairs in order. If you are one of the 4 winners, be sure that you head over to docancerfund.org to go find out more about this motorcycle ride and concert. Again, that's to win a meet and greet for Bisto Blanco and David Libby. We do have to take a break, but we'll be back right here on dvradio.net on Barracks Talk right after this.
There's a smell in the air today. No, it isn't those beans you had last night either. It's an explosion of napalm in the AM. An all-natural soap only from kbarsoapco.com. So start your day off as Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore does with the smell of napalm in the AM. Only from kbarsoapco.com.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
That's kbarsoapco.com.
My name is David Libby. And he proceeded to take the 30 joints and put them in people's shoes, backpacks, luggage, all that. Welcome to Contraband. Our guest is Johnny Cornwall, Jeff Vicente, Chris Brother Latham. He's the band of Sosra, and I get to cackle on there every now and then. Well, the guy that owns the Chinese food place, his name is Art.
DV Radio.
Stay tuned to
WDVR
from
dvradio.net.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own.
DV Radio.
the #1 stop on the internet for veterans and service members. WDVR on DVRadio.net.
And we're back to Barracks Talk live right here on DVRadio.net. WDVR, I'm Bonerwood. We got Google. DV6 is still with us somehow. Recoil. And we might have someone pop in here in a few minutes. But a lot of people are asking about tomorrow night's Service Dog show with PTSDog.
I can't wait for it.
About the new one. We don't have one tomorrow night because he was moving this week, and we don't have one tomorrow night. But we will have one next Sunday, which is April 29th, I believe. Yes, April 29th. So stay tuned to the Facebook page, Dysfunctional Veterans, and DV Radio for that. As well, I listen to podcasts once in a while. We work with a lot of veterans and other organizations and all. If you guys want to listen to another veteran podcast that sounds like us, doesn't give a shit, sounds like they're in the barracks talking again, go check out Up in Arms on podbean.com. They're a great duo. They're wonderful guys. You just go check them out. That's Up in Arms over on Podbean. They're a wonderful fucking podcast. You'll be laughing. I've not turned them off yet, so go and check them out. Don't forget that if you want to hear the full Howard Waitzkin interview that DV6 and I done, that will be at full length in a separate podcast of its own. We'll have the link in this podcast as well, but you can also go to Podbean, iTunes, all those good places, and listen to it at full length without any interruptions or any...
I finally figured out how to upload memes and I cracked myself up. Are you pro-life or pro-choice? Me! Paul! Crying. I can't put this shit on Facebook. I feel free.
You're liberated.
I'm liberated on DV Radio chat room. Thanks, Snafu, or was it Snafu who showed me how to do it? Hey, that was a good interview. I can't wait for the rest. I got a little confused during it, Bo, because every time you told me to hold on a minute, I had to keep checking to see if you were really talking to me. I was like, am I muted? I was like, holy fuck.
So for this last part of the show, for Junk in the News, we've got a special guest. Are you there, brother?
I don't know. You tell me. Can you hear me?
All right. Yep. We got Chris from K-Bar Soap Co. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing outstanding. How the hell are y'all?
Fucking wonderful. Outstanding. Fucking.
Well, can we answer too?
No.
Well,
I
mean, Six, you did talk over me over the announcement, so go ahead.
Yeah, it's about stepping on the post. No, Google, I didn't mean to double post. That's not it. The one at 9 o'clock I did, or 9:01, whatever time it was so that it would get further reach, and it did. It was to advertise the show, and then I spammed the page. That's why I was distracted, and it was used with a meme that had nothing to do with DV Radio, and it did pretty well. It's reached thousands. So
it was an instinctive double tap.
And then 6 at 10 you posted something, and at 10:01 you posted something else.
Oh, that was an accident.
Right. That's why I said, since you decided to do it again, I went through to make sure you don't have anything else scheduled
that was
to
you
fuck
saying
it all
that.
up.
I thought it was Bo, and you were arguing with him. So that was.
Oh my god!
I'm into all these chats. You guys are
6,
talking
just
on.
Go.
I'm going to bed. Hi, Chris.
What's up, 6? Y'all got all that stuff aired out or what? You good?
Jeez.
So what's new in soap news?
Right? Nothing helps you relax like the refreshing smell of fresh soup.
Nothing. I mean, nothing huge. Just trying to keep going, trying to figure out what we can do to get better. I'm about getting tired of doing all this shit by myself, though. It's getting a little rough.
Good luck.
The delegation's about to have to start occurring one way or the other. But other than that,
Even if you it's just starting out. I mean, whether you're doing a for-profit or a non-profit, all right, Google. I get these phone calls, and we do from people wanting to start similar things. Whether it's a business, so it's just like what you're doing. And I tell them, be careful what you wish for.
And you get out. You want to get out of the 9-to-5 struggle, but then you realize it's a 24-hour struggle when you're on your own. So it's a lot different. I'm sure you feel that.
Do you get tired of making decisions?
Shit, no. I'm good at that.
Oh. Well, I mean, every little thing.
Look, if it's something that I don't know, I'll find somebody that I can poll the audience, and I try to figure it out. So, I mean, try to make the best I can. But
I've watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I don't trust the audience. All right, I'm going to shut up now.
It's all good.
What? So nice of DV6 to fuck things up. All right, I'm going to get caught up. I'm going to mute. Dead air.
Where'd Chris go? Did you kick Chris out, 2-6?
I think I hit a button. Shit. Hold on. I'll bring him back.
You asswipe. What'd you do that for?
I don't know. Hold on.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's because I'm trying to upload a picture on chat. Hold on.
Y'all there?
There he is. I got back.
That's why we don't let 6 press buttons. But without further ado,
Did he just fuck that up?
Yeah, he fucked everything up, dude.
You're straight up on a roll tonight. I don't know if you should stop. Yeah, it's good.
Right.
Good stuff.
Well, since we are at 10:30 on a Saturday night, April 21st, we are going to go ahead and start Junk That's in the News.
You big dummy. When the president lies, it's not called a lie. It's called executive privilege. I'm Fred G. Sanford, and the G is for Guadalcanal. Want to see my diary? Were you a veteran? That's right. Oh, did you see much action? Well, only on leave.
And now, it's time to find out what stupid junk is in the news.
All right, so I have been gone for quite some time, so I figured I would mix it up just a little bit. This week, we are doing the Millennial edition of Junk That's in the News. Only because this week I feel like I heard so many different freaking stories about this is coming out and this is happening and all around millennials, and it was driving me insane. So I'm going to share the best ones with you guys. So let's get started. So Sainsbury is going to launch touch-free packaging for millennials scared of touching raw meat.
Well, some of them millennials like raw meat.
Well, there are a number of food items that many would say are quintessentially millennial, such as avocado, sourdough bread, and nut butter, to name a few. However,
I got some nut butter for you.
However, handling raw meat is apparently a massive no-no for Generation Y or millennials. So Sainsbury is getting ready to launch touch-free packaging for its chicken pieces, following research that revealed that many under the age of 35 fear that they may suffer from food poisoning as a result of touching raw meat.
No way. They think
Yes.
Can you see a religion coming out of this soon?
If it's still alive, is it raw meat?
Well, I'm not sure.
Well, there is a religion for pasta, so.
What, Pastafarians?
Pastafarians.
Yeah, it is. That's what it is. 6 Pastafarians.
And the results, the research shows. This is in the UK, but I mean, it's, pretty broad across the world, I'm sure, that 3 in 5 like experimenting with new cooking trends and ingredients. And this is 16 to 35-year-olds, but they are scared that they're going to get food poisoning.
Oh my god! So I don't want to touch. Yeah, I don't want to touch raw chicken. So wrap it in more plastic so that my boy can grow tits.
Exactly.
Well, if shit ever hits the fan, they're really going to be lost.
I
First,
know,
they won't
right?
kill it, then they won't handle it when it's already dead. When it's raw, I don't know what they're going to do. Just eat a bunch of, I don't know, grass and weeds and stuff.
So this supermarket chain, Sainsbury, has designed plastic no-touch pouches that can be opened with a simple tear, and it is actually in with the packaging of your chicken. It's pretty ridiculous, if I do say so myself. So you open the packaging, and then you open the no-touch pouches, and then you can use those to put your chicken into the pan. Of course, I mean, there are already plastic gloves out there and rubber gloves.
Why do you need to change the packaging? Even if it comes in a little styrofoam thing, you rip the cellophane off and throw it in the pan. You don't have to touch it.
I know.
You know what the
can
best
use tongs. You can use anything. If you don't want to touch the meat, then why? You know, like.
You know what that is? That's marketing genius right there.
Right? I'm telling you, the best packaging for chicken is feathers.
Fresh as hell. Love it.
Again, Google, I will remind you that they made a remote control for the clapper. Just say it.
I know, but that was not for millennials. That was for old people. This is the millennial edition.
My point is Chris and his marketing genius. That's where this is going.
I know.
I don't really need it, but it looks so pretty.
Now, moving along. Now, Starbucks has been around for a long, long time. And if you are young, then you really enjoy going to Starbucks for whatever fucking reason. I've never figured it out, and maybe that's because I worked there for a while when I had no choice. But now, Starbucks will close all of its company-owned stores on May 29th to provide racial sensitivity training to employees. This is happening because 2 people were kicked out of a Starbucks for loitering, not ordering anything, hanging around for 30, 45 minutes, and then going to ask to use the bathroom. And they were kicked out. So we have to have racial sensitivity training, and thus this is a millennial story.
I think the reason they're calling racism is because they called the cops, and the cops put them in handcuffs to take them outside because they were basically resisting and fighting and not wanting to leave. And they were told more than once, just by the manager, please get out of the shop if you're not going to buy anything. And they were colored people. So.
Yeah, but by doing that, they got more attention to the latest SJW cause or whatever.
Yeah, and did any of you guys hear like that people were comparing that to Rosa Parks?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did hear that.
And that's absolutely the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. Like,
yeah.
I will say on my way up to meet Google to give her the puppy, I had drank one of those big ass fucking monsters, so I had to piss like hell. So I stopped at a Starbucks, walked in, went in, used the pisser, and walked back out, and nobody said a fucking word to my white ass.
Well, you weren't lording either.
But that's how you do it. I do the same thing at Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, I walk in the door, I go to the bathroom, and I walk right back out. No one says anything.
You know, the good thing about me not being able to walk is I use a fucking hospital urinal. I just whip that thing out and just fucking piss right in it.
So
nobody will throw it.
Is it an inherent problem with Starbucks doing it to one class of people, or is it just that particular store, the employees are assholes? Because I've gone to use a bathroom at a place, not loitering, you know, like what Google is saying, running in to use a bathroom or something, and they won't let me use it unless I buy something. Or
I've ask.
Well, I've had that happen before, but 9 times out of 10, if you just go in there, see the bathroom, use it, and walk out, they're probably not going to say anything to you.
Right.
They won't.
Exactly.
It's the fact they hung out and didn't do anything. I mean,
These 2 individuals decided to loiter inside the store, pretending to be customers.
They said
staff
they were waiting on somebody.
Well, my understanding is that the staff waited a good 15 or 20 minutes before they even said anything to these guys.
Right.
I mean, they were there that long, goofing off,
I've
ordering,
had
doing
meetings
whatever.
at Starbucks, and they haven't bothered me. Google, remember we had the one with Al?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there are Starbucks.
I think they were scared to say something to me because I look like
here's
an
the thing.
angry mother.
No,
Here's the
because
thing. You have
because
some
Six,
of
the
them
meeting that. Sorry, Six. The meeting that you and I had with him, we did actually purchase something.
So they
and
wouldn't say no. That's right. I didn't like that.
Exactly.
I had to get something.
Okay.
Because we had to have the meeting there. Yeah.
On top of that, though, there are Starbucks that don't allow any sitting at all. You have to go in, buy something, and leave. Then you have your Starbucks internet cafes, quote unquote, and some of them will let you sit in there without buying anything, and others make it a point to make you buy something before you can even consider sitting down.
Again, so is this a case of widespread discrimination at Starbucks, or is it a particular store where the employees are assholes?
I thought this was a news segment, not a fucking debate.
I think it's company policy. I think it's just company policy and how much they enforce it. If they're not allowed to loiter in there, they did their job by telling them, and they didn't leave and didn't adhere to the company policy, so they called the cops. I mean, they resisted that.
You know that people at Starbucks, boy, they like to exert that power. I mean, you don't give a if you call it a large, you're going to get in trouble.
You're damn right they like to exert that power. I got a fucking small French vanilla like 10 years ago, and it was like $13. Fuck that shit. Worst French vanilla I've ever had in my entire life.
Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson said, "I've spent the last few days in Philadelphia, this is where it happened, with my leadership team listening to the community, learning what we did wrong and the steps we need to take to fix it. While this is not limited to Starbucks, we're committed to being a part of the solution. Closing our stores for racial bias training is just one step in a journey that requires dedication from every level of our company and partnerships in our local communities." And Executive Chairman Howard Schultz said, "The company's founding values are based on humanity and inclusion. We will learn from our mistakes and reaffirm our commitment to creating a safe and welcoming environment for every customer." Now, did you guys hear about the other thing surrounding this whole training thing? All right, so Starbucks has hired the Anti-Defamation League, I'm pretty sure. They hired, I think, Equal Justice. Yes.
I feel like I'm in one of Stan Lee's fucking comics right now.
Okay. So listen to this. So the company that Starbucks hired to perform this training, is owned by someone who is Jewish. He apparently is also racist. And so the woman who organized the Women's March that took place last January in D.C., who likes that guy, Farrakhan or whatever his name is, they are mad at Starbucks for hiring a firm founded by a Jew. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well,
it's like, it's this whole messed up fucking thing. Like,
what's the guy's name again, Google?
Farrakhan or whatever.
I swear, when you said Farrakhan, all I thought about was Shakaka.
I don't know his name. That's why I can't.
Louis Farrakhan.
The Jewish guy that owns the fucking whatever this building is. I've already forgotten now.
PTSDog.
Oh, I don't remember.
Racist.
I don't remember, but
I mean, Google's over there naming off fucking Stan Lee fucking Justice League shit, and I'm sitting here going, "Where's fucking Skeletor at?" Like, what the fuck?
It's just so funny. I think it's hilarious.
The defamation thing, and then fucking Unequal Justice League. It's like, what the fuck? Come on.
The Equal Justice Initiative. Come on.
Don't forget the league. You better add league on that. Get your rings out.
But the curriculum is being developed with guidance from several national and local experts confronting racial bias. And one of those local experts is U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, former U.S. Attorney General Eric holder.
What the fuck?
Yes, apparently he is very knowledgeable in this subject. Anyway,
I was getting ready to say, there you go.
Most
Use your
liberal
words.
companies on the face of the earth to go through that. I mean,
wait, did he say Earth or Earth?
Earth. Sorry, I'm from
that's the
South.
thing. That's the thing that's so funny about this, Chris, is that Starbucks is a liberal company who hired a liberal company who's being yelled at by another liberal company
For being liberal.
The hilarity ensues.
I'm like, that is insane. It's bad enough that Starbucks is closing their doors on May 29th for this training, but
I'd say that's like calling the kettle black, but don't want to get all racist up in here or anything.
oh man. All right, moving right along. So back on April 10th, there was another March for Our Lives. It's the youthful March for Our Lives, and it has revised a push to lower voting age to 16 in DC.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah. Great.
Yes. So DC Council member Charles Allen, Democrat of Ward 6, on Tuesday, this past whatever Tuesday was after April 10th, I'm sorry, I didn't get the date on that, will introduce legislation to lower the voting age from 18 to 16, hoping to channel youth activism to the ballot box.
They're too busy eating Tide Pods and snorting condoms, and I can't even hell no. Hell no.
Right?
I fully agree.
I mean,
the lawmaker wants to lower the voting age, though, to 16 because he was inspired by high schoolers.
Was it that, or did David Hogg get up in his face?
Well, I'm not so sure.
Did he get up in his face and go, I can make you an animal balloon and eat some animal crackles. You want to do this for me? Go for it.
Oh, man. I know, right? And Alan said they were powerful, they were thoughtful, they were leading. I don't see how anyone could hear any of those voices and think that person couldn't make an informed decision like anyone else. And he suggests 16 because it's the age teenagers can drive, work legally, and pay taxes.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. I don't think that, honestly, and I shouldn't have been able to either, I don't think we should let 16-year-olds fucking drive, but that's my fucking opinion. I mean, they don't, like Chris said, they're fucking eating Tide Pods and snorting condoms, and you want them to have a fucking driver's license and vote? Oh, no. No.
Exactly.
Yeah. Grow up a little bit first.
Yeah.
I know, right? And then the chief executive of Generation Citizen, Mr. Scott Warren, he said, you can't listen to these 16 and 17-year-olds and say they are not mature enough to participate. We are hopeful that D.C. can be the first major city in the country to lower the voter age. That would help propel a nationwide movement.
How about they prove it by being mature enough to get a fucking job? There's a whole generation of kids that don't get an after-school job now.
Yeah.
There's very few do.
Just because we have a law.
How about they prove it by not fucking eating Tide Pods and snorting condoms? I mean, that would go a long way. I'm sorry.
What good did come out of California is the fact that they changed the smoking and tobacco use up to 21 because your brain isn't fully developed until 21. Well, that's the only good thing that came out of California. I think we need to fucking up the fucking voting age to 21 now. Like after this bullshit.
Personally, I'm rooting for the San Andreas Fault.
Oh man! All right, moving right along.
Maybe one of those fires will melt.
While you mentioned Hogg, was that what he was going to release Friday? Am I out of the loop on that? Because he said he was going to protest something else this past Friday. And I, obviously I don't really give a shit. I just hear, whatever happens, I don't follow it. But I don't know if that was it or what. If he was going to call for that.
No, I'm pretty sure he called for something else, but I don't remember.
Gotcha. Probably insignificant, no doubt.
Obviously. Because it made world headlines, apparently.
Oh, he's calling for boycotts against investment firms. Or a specific investment firm because they're still okay with the gun laws and stuff that we have.
Oh my
That's
god!
That's what it.
Wow.
Right. Just like the teachers union dropped Wells Fargo because they're not willing to change their mind on gun control. So.
Well, it's like Steve Harvey said. The only reason he apologizes for any jokes is because of sponsors. If it wasn't for sponsors and him having his own show, he would never fucking apologize. And that's why we have comedians fucking apologizing every single day.
Exactly. So moving right along. Another thing that I really do see more as a millennial thing, although most of them probably shouldn't have kids, but you can now get a sonogram painted on your fingernail.
Oh, how sweet! I can wash it off in 6 months.
Right? God. So many mothers.
That's
many
sort of
mothers.
the theory, right? Get rid of it within 6 months.
That's why.
Oh man.
Where's the nail polish remover? It's time to get rid of this baby.
or as DV6 would say, pull.
So right now, this is happening in England, and many mothers who are expecting love to share the results of their ultrasounds to showing off the child growing in them. So what better way to do that than to manicure your sonogram on your fingernail?
I'm not going to lie. The only coolest thing that I've seen come out of like technology and sonograms is there's a place in the UK where you can go to one of the Lego stores and you can actually have the sonogram printed on Legos, like a mosaic. That I think is cool.
That's pretty awesome.
But painting on your fucking fingernails.
What a cute little blockhead.
Right.
But
painting it on your
that's
fingernails.
actually kind of cute because you can give it to your kid when they're old enough, or when they're grown.
No.
It's something cool.
For the amount that you have to pay for the sonogram to be printed on a fucking set of Legos, and then the cost of the baby itself. No, that kid is not getting my fucking Legos that I built with my hard-earned sweat, blood, money, and tears.
Sorry, kid, no college, but you can have these Legos.
Right?
Seriously, that shit's like $1,200 because they make it on the spot for you. So, fuck that. You're not getting my fucking sonogram Lego bricks, bitch. Go get a job. Then you can vote, too.
So here's your last for the evening. This is going to continue running for a few weeks because there's just so many things that millennials have killed or are killing. But we'll get started.
I was going to say something, but I better not because that's anyway.
So millennials are really killing the casual dining chains, such as Buffalo Wild Wings, Applebee's, Longhorn, stuff like that. Only because they'd rather cook at home and don't want to wait around for food.
I have yet to see many millennials that actually know how to fucking wash clothes, much less cook. So.
They won't even touch chicken. Get the fuck out of here.
I know, but it's easier to order from a delivery restaurant than it is to go to like Applebee's and sit down and have to, They want fast.
Yeah, I know they want fast. Yeah, look at all the fucking bullshit they complain about. If a law isn't passed right on the spot, oh my god.
Well, the problem is they can't wash their clothes because they ate all their Tide Pods, and now when it comes time to eat, they don't have an appetite.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have so many millennials if their mom had to swallow just like they did the Tide Pods. So.
Right. And if they'd actually use the condoms instead of snorting them, they wouldn't have all these young kids.
Exactly. Goddamn warning
that
labels.
That is very true.
Warning labels of usage. That's what they should put on them.
So millennials are also not in favor of the concept of starter homes. Do you guys remember starter homes? It's that first house you buy. It's the fixer-upper that you flip and... Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, I should get out of high school making $35 an hour and living in a $300,000 house.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're renting longer and buying expensive houses later, or they stay in their mom's basement until they can afford a house.
See, this is what I find hilarious because the millennial generation, quote unquote, that the media has portrayed as a fucking generation anyway, because that's where it all started. But anyway, it's what, like 26 to 38 or some bullshit like that, Google?
Right.
Okay, so how the fuck do you get statistics from those few in that majority? Because I'm pretty sure that most of us my age and to your age and a little bit older than that either live with somebody already and have most of our life and had jobs and actually been a fucking adult. I mean, I'm so confused.
Because, Bo, the common misconception, and that is the exact same one that is being used of things that millennials are killing, is that millennials are between the age of 18 and 34.
Oh my good God. Fuck. Throw me off of a cliff already, please.
So because that is the common misconception, because they haven't actually looked anything up to determine what a true millennial is, that makes that saying that I am not a millennial, which thank the Lord I'm finally out of that age.
Well, it's funny that the media,
but based on what everything else, it's anyone that has graduated high school before the year 2000, or like between 2000 and whatever. So there's definitely or born between these.
Well, I don't know about you, Google, but I liked being in the Nintendo generation up until these motherfuckers took it over.
I'm glad I'm a Gen Xer.
It's 82 to what? It's 82 to 2002 with millennials.
Yeah,
right.
Which
it's
makes
something
no
like
sense.
That. But everyone that says millennials is talking about the 18 to 30-year-olds.
Well, it really pisses me off that the media even does this, because honestly, the only two generations that are recognized by a actual and factual name is the greatest generation, which was first called that by Tom Brokaw, even though he was doing a news article. But the other one is the baby boomers, and that is federally recognized. That's it. That's the only two that are recognized by the government as a name for a generation. The media decided to keep going with that after Tom Brokaw done the greatest generation thing. They thought, oh, well, we're smart enough to make our own shit and make it stick. And now it's went from, an actual decade to let's do 3 decades in one generation. They're so fucked up, it's not even funny.
Exactly. So something else that millennials are killing is beer. Beer. These kids prefer wine and spirits to beer. Even homebrew, they're not a fan of.
Well, I still like my liquor, bourbon, and whiskey and Mountain Dew.
Yep, I'm guilty. I'll take Jack Daniels over Budweiser any day.
Yeah. So
I do believe that beer was kind of going slowly away before the millennials hit.
Yeah, well, beer's been on a downtrend for years.
Napkins are also going away.
Napkins?
Tonight, coming through on your
tonight on Barracks Talk.
Hold on. Let me explain this. So DV6, a couple of months ago, decided that we were going to move Storm's dog bed, which is really just a blanket on the floor, in front of the freezer. I did it for like one night, and then you said, "Oh, we'll just move him in permanently." So anyway, his dog bed is in front of it's in front of the freezer, but he likes to hide his bones under his blanket. So Six just stepped on one.
The one thing that's more dangerous than a Lego.
Yep, a chewed up dog bone.
Oh, it was one of the home studies guy. Still, it's like a bone.
Tonight on Barrett's Talk, DV6 and Boning.
There's your name.
DV6 permanently injured by heart bone.
DV6 and Boning. That's this podcast.
Yeah, you told me that. Oh, it's so funny. So there you go. So millennials are also killing napkins. They'd rather go for paper towels than paper napkins.
What?
Yes.
I don't get a napkin unless I'm in a restaurant anyway. I've been using paper towels in my hand and T-shirt for fucking ever since I was born. So what the fuck?
In my house, we use paper towels and when we're having like ribs, but otherwise we use paper napkins at dinner.
They're talking about those fucking cloth napkins. I bet. I guarantee it.
Reusable.
Yeah, the cloth ones like you get at a restaurant in a really nice upscale, $1,000 plate restaurant. I bet that's what they're talking about.
Possibly.
With Mom and McDonald's.
It is possible. They also don't like chain restaurants such as Hooters, and they are referring to these as restaurants.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, come on. You can sit behind your computer and watch porn all day. We've got
Hooters?
the internet.
At Hooters?
No, at your house.
Oh, I was about to say, I need to go over to Hooters. I've never been there, but...
It must have changed.
Right? I've had takeout from Hooters.
They're also eating healthier. They don't like cereal anymore. I know Six, he gets up in the morning, and 6 out of 7 days, he has cereal for breakfast.
That man don't have a bowl of cereal. That motherfucker has 2 boxes of cereal inside of a fucking container at once.
He uses a Tupperware container.
Yeah, does he not, Google? He has a fucking huge-ass fucking Tupperware fucking, like, something you would put a whole ham in. That's how big this motherfucker is.
I do the same thing. I get 3 bowls of cereal out of a full-size box.
Jesus. Man, I don't know if I've ever done that, but here lately, I might can eat a bowl, and that is it. That shit rips me apart. Fucking Crohn's. Go fuck yourself, Crohn's, if you're listening. Oh, wait, I have it.
Now, Chris,
never mind.
Since you're on with us, I'll finish with this one. Right. Because it could hurt your business in the long run, because millennials are not fans of bars of soap. So I guess it's a good thing that you are going after veterans with your bars of soap.
That's a total bummer.
Hey, Chris.
Maybe the generation after him will smart a little bit
Chris.
on that.
Hey, Chris, have you thought about the grenade on a rope for prisoners?
Well, I'll tell you, I have asked people, or have had people ask, can I make it in anything else, right? That, the grenade, they're really not into grenades. And I'm like, nah, I'm sorry. That is what it is,
Yeah.
So that may have triggered some people.
It'll make a comeback. There was a generation in the 60s that didn't like bars of soap. So.
Yeah.
Well, the reasoning for right now is that 48% of all U.S. consumers believe bar soaps are covered in germs after 1 use.
My God.
A feeling that is particularly strong among consumers aged 18 to 24, which I guess makes sense because they don't want to touch raw chicken anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that argument too.
That's like saying you can get AIDS from piss on a toilet. Like, come the fuck on! How retarded do you have to be in this world? Oh my God!
Yeah, there are a total of 70 items on this list.
Wait, I've got it. This just reminds me because you're talking about the chicken and you're talking about the bars of soap. There is a video on Facebook.
Don't wash your chicken with soap. I watched Sheldon Cooper do that on Young Sheldon.
This one's better. There is a video circulating on Facebook. It might be other places too. This guy is cooking, I'm pretty sure it's chicken. And they're yelling at him to wash the chicken, right? Before he cooks it. He takes like Dawn dishwashing detergent and fucking scrubs the fuck out of this shit. And they're recording him laughing their ass off. Yeah, what you laughing at? What you laughing at? What are you laughing at? And he's literally thinking he's supposed to wash this chicken. He washes it, leaves the soap on most of it, and actually starts cooking it after he washes it. Well, finally, it gets to the end of the video. He's like, "What you laughing at?" And somebody that's in the background says, "You ain't supposed to do that to the chicken." And he's like, "They told me to what? Oh shit!" And he finally realizes, rinse the chicken. Oh my God, it was retarded.
Right.
Oh my God.
No, this one. So we're watching Young Sheldon. And in one of the episodes, if you haven't seen it yet, this might be a teaser or whatever. Sheldon thinks that he's an adult. And so He's going to cook his own meal. He drops some chicken on the floor, decides to wash it with dish soap to get all the germs off.
I don't think people realize what, factory made soap can do to your fucking stomach when you ingest it.
I know.
You want a laxative, baby?
Sometime. I just wish people would read the ingredients on half the shit they put on their body. And that's my plug. They have no clue.
I was going to say, Chris, you want to tell us a little bit about
urea?
I was going to say, you want to tell us really quick about your product before we start into the show?
Yeah, all natural grenade soap with none of that bullshit chemicals, and you could probably wash your chicken with my soap, and it wouldn't hurt you.
So you're saying your soap is all vegan?
There's no animal products in it whatsoever.
And it's not tested on animals, so it is 100% vegan soap.
Yeah,
that's your seller for millennials.
Give them that I don't know, all natural stuff. See, it's all it's all in the angle you take. So you can appeal to veterans, and then you feel that all natural. So I mean, it's just getting them to get past that hurdle of just using that bullshit they're using now.
Right, but Chris, you can't tell a millennial it's all natural because they don't understand what that means. You have to say it's 100% vegan.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh shit, really? I would love that."
That's all it takes sometimes, right?
Hey, I know you've been asked this more than once, Chris, but Noggs in chat wants to know how much of the whiskey makes it through to quality control.
Well, a shot goes to the soap, and a shot goes to me, and then sometimes I get double. But it really doesn't make it out too much. Even throughout the process, most of the actual alcohol evaporates. So if you try to go eating whiskey and bad decisions, it's not going to get you too far. A lot of
Yeah, we actually had your promo for whiskey and bad decisions last week. So,
heck yeah, I've heard that. I dig it without a doubt. But it does have actual whiskey in it. It goes through the process. I make soap with that whiskey. It's just that 5-week curing time. Nothing, no alcohol exposed to air for 5 weeks is going to last.
Right.
Nice. And where can those people that are listening that's never heard of K-Bar Soap Co. go to get your product, your soap products, and your beer products for that matter?
Yeah, it's kbarsoapco.com. On the web, Instagram at kbarsoapco, Facebook, Twitter, the whole 9 yards.
Nice. And those URLs will be in the bottom of this podcast, as well as all the others that you've heard in the show. Before I start doing my spiel, Chris, do you have anything else you want to talk about really quick? You got a minute.
No. That's it, brother. I appreciate you let me jump on here. It'd been a while since we caught up, so I definitely appreciate hearing y'all's voices again.
Yeah, brother.
Brother. We'll definitely have you on as a guest here soon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I just to put it in perspective for everybody, this motherfucking dickhead texted me and says, "Are we going live tonight or what?" And I'm in Skype with Recoil, and I'm like, "Recoil, are we supposed to have Chris from K-Bar on tonight?" And he's like, "Yeah, you told me that last week." And I went, "Motherfucker, why did you not remind me? We're supposed to do the doctor interview tonight." So I get Chris in here on Skype. First words out of his mouth, "Oh man, I was just playing with you. I knew you'd go along with it." Recoil's over there laughing. He's like, "Yeah, I went along with it too," and he told me that last week. I'm like, "You fucking cocksuckers, go fucking suck your own
look, here I am. So you made it happen.
Right?
I'll make shit happen. That's damn straight.
It's improvise, adapt, and overcome.
That's right. I will make shit happen.
Oh,
you guys know that. But yeah, brother.
That's hilarious.
Like Recoil said, we do want to have you back on really soon so we can actually have an actual discussion with you. But if you don't have anything else, Chris, Google, do you have anything for Chris before we let him go?
Me?
No, the other Google, the one that actually makes money by people going to it every single minute.
Sorry. No, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Even at this late hour.
I know.
Because you decided to make Bo join.
Fucking dickheads. Fucking asshole cunts. That's what you are.
We got to keep you on your toes, bud. That's all it is.
All right, brother. I enjoyed it. We'll talk to you later, and you have a great evening with your family, brother.
Absolutely. Y'all too have a meritorious night.
All right. Thanks, brother. So that was Chris from K-Bar Soap Co. Sorry we didn't have him on, but thanks to Recoil and Mr. Chris's unplanning of planning events, we had him on anyway. But if people don't want to, follow the Facebook page or be on the website or anything like that where people can find out that they're actually following us, Dysfunctional Veterans and DV Radio Recoil, where can they go to do that anonymously?
Well, the best place to do that would be dvbarracks.com. That's our forum that is off of Facebook and out of the public prying eyes. You can head on over to dvbarracks.com. You can create yourself an account with either your email or you can log in with your Facebook. Once you have an account created, go to the top right-hand corner and click on your profile. You can change your name to any call sign that you want to use and change your picture to any picture that you want to use. Then you're free to use the forum in anonymity. But anyway, it's super fucking cool. There's a lot of the good, typical standard DV humor over there. Actually turned up a notch because we won't get banned for it. But also there's my personal favorite section, which is the peer support section, and that's brothers and sisters like you and me looking out for brothers and sisters like you and me. So if you haven't already, head on over to dvbarracks.com.
That's the DV forum where you can be there anonymously. Thanks there, Recoil, at dvbarracks.com. If you didn't know
it's
it, we are
infectious. Anomalously.
That's I was trying to do that. But yeah, if you didn't know it, we are on podcast, Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and a bunch of other places that I don't even fucking know about. So go subscribe, keep updated with all of our podcasts, and maybe you'll find something that I didn't know we had in a podcast, and you can ask for it. If you have a 30-second rant, we still have the goddamn rant line. Go to dysfunctionalveterans.com, click on the Rant On tab. Leave us a 30-second rant, and we'll have you in a rant line. I need rants, motherfuckers. You bitches keep asking for it. I'm about to get rid of it. Go over there. Do it now. All right. Twitter, at @DV_DV Radio, mydvstore.com, dvfarm.org, smile.amazon.com. No hidden fees, extra costs, and a portion of your shopping cart when you shop there goes to the DV Farm if you've made DV Farm your charity of choice. Am I forgetting anything?
Was that your rant, Bo, that you should have used the rant line for?
What?
Well, you were ranting, but you didn't do it on the rant line.
I wasn't ranting. I was just telling them to go over there and fucking use the rant line.
Sounded like a rant.
Make sure that you marinate your chicken in Tide Pod before you stuff it into a condom and make a sausage.
Yes. For those listeners that don't know how to cook, we're going to have tips for cooking by Recoil next week. Stay tuned for more information. Oh my god. Actually, if you guys haven't heard, we are actually getting ready to syndicate the Struggle Brothers very, very, very soon. Ron Ripley, Filthy Rich, they're going to be on with us, I believe, next Saturday. Don't hold me to that, because, Chris fucked me up this week, so I don't fucking know who we got on next week. We've got somebody coming on. I don't fucking know. But we're going to do a crossover with them. I'm going to be on their show. They're going to be on our show, and it's all going to be a big fuck up, because we're dysfunctional, and that's how we do shit. Google, you have anything lastly for our listeners that's listening tonight or on podcast?
Don't be a snowflake like a millennial.
And Recoil.
As always, be safe and keep looking out for each other, fuckers.
And for those of you who are in different time zones and parts around the world, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. You have listened to Barracks Talk right here on WDBR, dvradio.net. I am Boner Wood. We're going to end tonight's show. Until next week, buttsickles. Bye-bye.
Hit us up on Facebook and Twitter.
That's all, folks.